Hello, and welcome to Agriculturally Correct, a show where we discuss hot topics in agriculture with a variety of guests. My first guest is consumer and author of Honey, If You Don't Make It, I Can't Buy It, Desiree Purchase. Lovely to see you again.
Bobby Bunny.
My next guest is currently starring in his own documentary, Mummy Earth, environmentalist Al Naturel.
Like, I'm not sitting next to her. It's like people like her who are responsible for the pollution of...
Perhaps you are unfamiliar with the format of the show. I have more guests to introduce before we can talk. My third guest is author of Meeting Global Food Demands with Technology, Dr. Crystal Vision.
Like, who invited her? She just confused everybody with her scientific mumbo-jumbo.
It's better than being a 350.
Well, at least he knows that food doesn't grow in a supermarket shelf.
Exactly. You can't do
And
that.
last,
Look,
and
look,
certainly
you're
least,
cutting holes in the
please say
ocean.
hello to my fourth
What
guest,
you're doing is you're
my
cutting down
final
the trees.
guest,
You're
Gibbo.
causing, you know, you're killing off our environment. You can't kill off our environment.
Everybody sit down! It'll all be okay, Gibble. Now, we all know that name-calling and arguing aren't going to get us anywhere. Can't we all just calm down and discuss these issues like grown-ups?
Yeah, you bunch of children. What do you think you're doing here?
Who are you children? Yeah, exactly.
Stop the fighting. Okay, the children.
They're hurting my sweet mind.
Oh, look what you've gone. Then you made her cry. Look,
Can't we? Just sit down. Thank you. I'd like to begin tonight's discussion with a topic that is on all of our minds. Why?
like, why what?
Why what?
You know, why pi equals y?
What?
Hi.
Well,
I'm right.
This video is almost halfway over. Excuse me for expecting you to know that y stands for yield, the amount of food produced. Yield.
oh.
Yield.
By the year 2050, the world will need about 3 times as much food. Yes?
Why, Dr. Bob?
Because there will be more and more mouths to feed, and we will all want to eat more and better food. What?
So what are we going to do?
Well, we've got to make choices, and some of those choices will turn out better than others. One choice is to cut more land that is not already used to produce crops because it is less suitable. But that can destroy the environment, wreck wildlife habitat, and produces a low-yield crop anyways.
But like 90% of the world's biodiversity is in the tropical rainforest, the wetlands, the mountains, microclimates. We shouldn't be farming there.
But if we need more land to produce more crops for the world, do we have any other choice?
Well, actually, Dr. Bob, there is a way to increase the Y, or yield. That is through science and technology. In fact, scientists have identified high-yield genes from the wild relatives of our native crop plants and achieved yield gains of 30 to 50%.
And man-made inputs such as fertilizers and pesticides produce a very high yield. High-yield crops have a very high yield.
Is this natural? Should we be messing with Mother Nature?
Well, actually, using science and technology, we can develop man-made inputs that are more effective and environmentally friendly. This, in turn, lets us use less chemicals and still have good yields.
Like, maybe we could feed the world with organic farming.
Well, the big problem with organic farming is that it gets less yield gains than those from conventional farming practices. What would the rest of us eat?
Why don't you just go
Whoa, you two. I do have another guest on the show. Perhaps we should hear some other opinions.
Well,
Not you. I was referring to Desiree. Now, Desiree, what do you want?
Well, I want my kids to have lots of meat and milk and fruit. And I want them to have lots of comfortable and washable cotton clothes. And I want Fluffy,
Fluffy?
my cat.
Oh.
I want Fluffy to have her chicken num-nums whenever her furry heart desires. Can't I have all the things I need without destroying the rainforests?
Nope.
There are no other choices?
Well, here's a reality check for you. If we do not triple the yield on every acre of farmland within the next 50 years, there will be a huge pressure to develop the world's natural areas for food. Does this sound like a solution to you?
Why are you getting all flipsy with me? I just want to buy the things I need.
It's all about you and your comfortable world. Many developing nations have real problems with hunger and malnutrition. It's up to us to choose the best alternative, and science and technology provide these alternatives for us to choose from. And what's best may be different in each situation, but we do have choices!
I'm sorry, but we're almost out of time. I guess there is one thing we need to ponder as our population and demand for food grows. Why?
Why what?
You know, y pi equals y yield, remember?
Oh, yield.
Well, I would like to thank my guests for joining me tonight. This topic is a huge one. I hope we have given you some thought for food. With our world's population growing and people wanting more and better food, we must find a way to produce it without endangering the environment. Using science and technology, we can develop man-made inputs that are more effective and environmentally friendly. That means we will be able to use fewer chemicals and still have good yields.
Before you do,